Hello. My name is Houston, and this is Media Mood Board. Yes, welcome. I'm Houston, and this is Media Mood Board. Coming up soon is the New York Film Fest, and if you're anything like me, you have no idea what screenings you want to see. Like many film fests, it's highly curated and also very difficult to decide what you want to see. Many of the movies showing have little to no marketing, and while they do their best to catalog everything on the website, it can be exhausting, frustrating, and tiring to go through all of the movies. That's what this is for. You're watching this either because, like me, you're going to the New York Film Festival, but you don't know what you want to see, or you're curious about what they may be showing, or what may come to wide release soon. The festival is broken down into 4 sections. I've consolidated this into 3 categories: the main slate, spotlight and revivals, and currents. This is the main slate section. You could consider this the main stage of the show. Movies that they think will either draw the biggest crowd, sell the most passes, or are just the most important. If you're looking for spotlight and revivals, the second stage of the show, or the experimental section, I put the other 2 videos up here. I'm going to rifle through each movie, showing a trailer where I could find one, or a production still where I couldn't. The descriptions here are a combination of the description on the New York Film Fest website, plus my own independent research through podcasts and just researching online. The main slate has 3 movies which are excluded from all the lower level passes, which is what I have. These are the opening night, the closing night, and the centerpiece. I'll list these 3 first, and then I'll go in alphabetical order through the rest of the main slate selections. There are truly a lot to go through, so I'm going to be really rifling through it. If you're here to decide what you want to see, it's time to get out that notes app now, because here we go, we're getting into it. So all 3 of the big boys here play with the idea of biopics. 2 of these are about real-life figures in history, and 1 is a dramatized fiction, the lead up to making a biopic. That's what we're looking at here. May December is the new movie from Todd Haynes, director of Carol, Safe, and Far From Heaven. Natalie Portman plays a young actress who's spending time to get to know a woman she'll be playing in an upcoming movie, played by Julianne Moore. Julianne Moore's character and her much younger husband had been the subject of tabloids 20 years prior, and over the course of the movie, we see the truth of their scandal unfold. Priscilla is the newest movie from Sofia Coppola, the director of movies like The Virgin Suicides and Marie Antoinette, covering the life of Priscilla Presley, the wife of Elvis Presley. Their courtship began when Elvis was 24 and Priscilla was only 14. She was thrown into the world of Elvis before she was ever able to experience any of the world herself. Like much of Sofia's work, it has to do with women under the scrutiny of the public and will probably feature a lot of synth. Ferrari is director Michael Mann's first film since 2015. The director, known primarily for his crime dramas like Heat and Thief, is a biopic of a famous car manufacturer, Enzo Ferrari, of Ferrari, and is played by Adam Driver. About Dry Grasses is the new movie from Turkish director Nuri Bilge Ceylan, about a school teacher at a public elementary school accused of misconduct by one of his students. Unpacking, quote, belief versus action, this movie won the lead actress playing opposite the accused elementary school teacher the Best Actress prize at this year's Cannes. All Dirt Road's Taste of Salt is the debut from American filmmaker Raven Jackson. A spiritual impressionistic piece about growing up in rural Mississippi, the movie touts minimal dialogue and a reliance on sound and image. British director Andrew Hayes' last movie, Weekend, was a well-reviewed queer romance about 2 strangers. His newest movie, All of Us Strangers, seems to be a further exploration of these themes, but this time an adaptation of a book from the 80s. Andrew Scott plays the lead, who meets and forms a relationship with his neighbor, played by Paul Mescal, while also confronting his own troubled past. Winner of this year's Palme d'Or at Cannes, Justine Trier's newest drama, Anatomy of a Fall, is a tense courtroom procedural about a novelist accused of murdering her husband after he falls from his roof, and the evidence seems to suggest foul play. Taking place in the dramatic French court system, their entire marriage is put on display for public scrutiny. French director Bertrand Bonello's newest film is a sci-fi based on a Henry James short story from the 1930s. Taking place simultaneously over 3 time periods, 1910, 2014, and 2044, follows the reincarnations of 2 lovers destined to always be drawn to each other, but fated to have their relationship dramatically explode. La Chimera is a new fantasy movie from Italian director Alice Rohrwacher about a convict recently out of prison who is a human dowsing rod, able to divine the location of objects of great value nearby. The lead, played by Josh O'Connor of The Crown, is taken in by a group of grave robbers and quickly becomes a subject of interest to the art world. It's preceded by a short film by Agnes Varda about her and Pasolini walking through Times Square, with her narration musing on Christianity and the nature of reality. While filmed in 1966, it was only recently restored in 2021. Close Your Eyes is Spanish director Victor Erice's fourth film in 50 years. It tells the story of an aging director trying to finish a movie that he had abandoned years ago after his lead actor and best friend disappeared under mysterious circumstances. The cast includes the actress who once played the child lead in one of the director's earlier works, Spirit of the Beehive. The Delinquents is a new crime drama from Argentinian director Rodrigo Moreno. A disgruntled bank manager steals the exact amount of his salary until retirement age from the bank vault. He intends to turn himself in and asks his friend and co-worker to help him hide the money until he gets out of prison. Things don't go as planned. Romanian provocateur Radu Jude is back with a new film. Do not expect too much from the end of the world. The story loosely follows a gig worker who drives cabs, is a PA for corporate safety films, and is a right-wing influencer. The overtly profane movie is interspersed with doctored footage from another Romanian movie from 1981, also about a female cab driver. Eureka is a drama from Argentinian filmmaker Lisandro Alonso, which juxtaposes three similarly themed stories in three wildly different terrains. A gunslinger seeking revenge in the Old West, played by Viggo Mortensen. A present-day Native American cop on her nighttime patrol, in a story of indigenous workers in the 1970s panning for gold. Evil Does Not Exist is Ryusuke Hamaguchi's follow-up to the critical darling Drive My Car. An eco-thriller that plays with the metaphysical, it follows the story of a small rural village approached by a company looking to set up a glamping destination. Fallen Leaves is a romance celebrating life's small moments from Finnish director Aki Kaurismäki, about a grocery clerk and a construction worker who try and find happiness while seeking better employment and financial stability for their lives. Green Border is a drama from Polish director Agnieszka Holland about a Syrian family trying to cross the border to find a safe haven in Sweden. The story weaves between security patrol officers, activist lawyers, and civilians who transport strangers seeking refuge. Here is a quiet drama about connection from Belgian filmmaker Bas Davos, following a construction worker returning home to Romania, where he connects with a virologist studying local moss. Winner of the Best Film Prize in the Berlin International Film Festival's Encounters competition. Next, we have two films from prolific South Korean director Hong Sang-soo, both starting with the word In. In Our Day, his 30th feature, alternates between two seemingly unrelated stories, one of an actress relaxing and recharging at home with her friend, and another of a popular middle-aged poet being visited by a student making a documentary about him. In Water is shot almost entirely out of focus and tells the story of a first-time director, their cinematographer, and their lead actress preparing to shoot a film and the romantic undertones bubbling underneath the group. Janet Planet is the debut film from Pulitzer Prize-winning playwright Annie Baker. It tells the story of a mother and daughter, one lazy summer in Massachusetts before 6th grade begins. Kidnapped is an Italian historical drama from director Marco Bellocchio, following the story of two Jewish parents' struggle to rescue their son after he was baptized against their wishes and seized by the state as Catholic. The incident would lead to the Italian people rejecting the Pope's rule. A new film from the provocative Catherine Bryott last summer tells the story of Anne, a lawyer who specializes in sexual consent cases, romantically drawn to her husband's estranged 17-year-old son. Music is German director Angela Skanelek's newest drama. Inspired by the Oedipus myth and told in an abstract, elliptical narrative, it tells the story of a prisoner and guard who fall in love and the pasts that come back to haunt them both. Orlando, My Political Biography, is a documentary from first-time filmmaker Paul B. Preciado. It takes a look at the history of trans life through a conceptual lens, casting 26 trans and non-binary people to play different versions of Virginia Woolf's gender-shifting character, Orlando. Perfect Days is respected German director Wim Wenders of Paris, Texas fame's newest film about a gentle-natured Tokyo public toilet cleaner. The lead actor's performance won him the Best Actor award at Cannes for this drama about daily routine. Pictures of Ghosts is Brazilian filmmaker Kleber Filo's documentary about the history of his hometown, made almost entirely from footage from his own movies, all the way from childhood to the present. This one is also preceded by the Varda short doc. Poor Things is Yorgos Lanthimos' new sci-fi reinterpretation of the Frankenstein story, starring his muse Emma Stone, and this fairy tale playing with the themes of self-actualization and autonomy. La Practica is Martin Reichman's first movie in almost a decade. It's a deadpan comedy about an injured and recently divorced yoga instructor and his tenuous relationships with his pupils and family. The Settlers is a sweeping historical adventure set in turn-of-the-century Chile. Playing with the conventions of the American Western, it tells the story of three men, a British officer, an American mercenary, and a Chilean marksman, hired by a landowner to enforce the boundaries of his property. The Shadowless Tower is the newest film from novelist Zhang Lu. It follows an older divorcee who has abandoned his long career in poetry to become a food critic. Feeling isolated from his family, he finds a new spark for life in a young photographer. Youth Spring is the newest doc from one of documentary's biggest names, Wang Bing. This piece focuses on the lives of young textile factory workers in a town outside Shanghai. And finally, the last film included in the main slate this year is Jonathan Glazer's Zone of Interest, a period piece which tells the story of the domestic life and daily chores of Auschwitz's head commandant and his wife, entirely set in their home and garden right outside the walls of the concentration camp. Winner of the Grand Prix at Cannes.
And that's it, the main slate selections for this year's New York Film Festival. I hope you found something you like or something you're excited to see. I've created a letterbox list of all the New York Film Fest movies, including the official copy from the New York Film Fest website. I'm including a link in the description below. If you liked what you saw, you can follow Media Moodboard here on YouTube or follow us on Letterboxd. I'll be back next week with another hyper-specific entertainment list. I'm Houston, this is Media Moodboard, and I'll see you next time. Bye!